Hi, Marlene. It's great to see you. And I have to tell people that we're doing this on a Sunday because we couldn't find any other time between us because I think we're both so busy. But great to see you. And thank you so much for agreeing to be interviewed today as part of this project where we're interviewing the past presidents of the IAFL. So thank you very much. I'm very much looking forward to hearing all your answers to my very many questions. So thank you.
Thank you for taking time to conduct this interview.
So, Marlene, before talking about the whole situation regarding the IFL, can I just have a brief resume of your career?
I started practicing law in 1981. And before that, I was a social worker and I worked in social work for 8 years. And I greatly enjoyed working with people and families. And I actually did drug and alcohol counseling.
Wow.
And it was at that time that I was called into court to testify on behalf of the drug and alcoholics, the drug addicts and the alcoholics, as to their probation. It was a methadone clinic and whether they were staying on the program and complying. And at that point, I realized if I could be a lawyer, I could effectuate change a lot more than as a social worker, at which point I switched careers. And early on in our generation, mainly the women, if they were going to work, they were teachers and social workers and nurses.
Yeah.
And so there were a few who were lawyers, but not as many as there are today. But then I switched careers and I'm thrilled that I did.
Excellent. And so you've seen some real changes during your lifetime as a lawyer and before. Tell us about two or three of your career highlights.
One of the highlights was being president of the American Academy of Matrimonial Lawyers. That was my first big presidency. And during that time, one of the things that concerned me greatly was clients coming into my office with family problems and saying, "What do I tell the children?" So I worked with a psychologist and another lawyer to develop a booklet, What to Tell the Children. And it's about the breakup of relationships. And it has since been translated into multiple languages. And the International Academy of Family Lawyers adopted the versions as well. And so now it's in multiple languages. And it pleases me because I think that's an important contribution that we can give to parents to be able to properly tell children what's going on at an appropriate age level when the family structure changes. So that's number
Absolutely.
one.
Yeah, and absolutely, that's something that we always should remember at the heart of the work we do is sort of seeing this through the prism of the eyes of the children, really. So, what
Right.
about number two?
Well, number two has to be the privilege of working with my daughter. She is a family law attorney as well and has been with me for 16 years. And it is just an honor and a privilege to be able to practice family law with my family. So that has been tremendous. And I consider that a highlight. To be able to do that because it really adds to the enjoyment of my work and our work together and our common purpose.
Thank you very much. And thinking about any top tips that you might give a younger lawyer today, what would you say?
It's important to create good relationships at all levels. So, certainly in your own family structure, so that you have the stability to help other families in family law. And then within your law office, within the network of other lawyers, clearly judges, their staff, and be positive in your relationships. You can represent somebody very effectively without being ugly or without being destructive to your relationship with opposing counsel or any other side. You can do it with grace and with purpose and with direction, realizing that these relationships that you're developing and creating in your life can be positive or negative. And the more positive they are, the greater the quality of your life. So relationships, it's all about relationships. And that would be the advice I would give. Start building them, cherish them, nurture them, and use them to effectively increase the quality of your own life.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And in terms of career and life, what advice would you give to your younger self, young Marlene?
More of that, and also to not be so critical of myself, and be more forgiving and ease up a bit. I was very pressure packed, everything was critically important. It's hard to find the balance when you're a young lawyer as to what you can let go of and what you need to hang on to, and you struggle with that. And you just have to remember to be kind to yourself as you're making mistakes along the way, and seek mentors to help you, because we all make mistakes, and it's a question of how you deal with them and how you learn from them. So
Yeah,
be kind to yourself.
we've got a very good program in England at the moment of family law supervision, where people have a supervisor, a bit like a social worker would have. And that's really reaping rewards, allowing people of all generations, in fact, not just young lawyers, but right across the piece, to have access to somebody to talk to during their career. Um, and were you and are you able to manage your work-life balance, or would you say that's been impossible?
No, I definitely have been balancing, but it's a juggling act. So you just keep the balls juggling, and somehow it works, but it's not easy. And you might drop a ball, but you pick it up quick and you juggle it some more. So that's just part of it. But it's also very rewarding to be able to do that, and having good systems, working with good people, being surrounded by people that nurture and care and work well with you, whether it be in your immediate family, extended family, work family, all of the systems. The healthier they are, the better your work balance is going to be. And that's been a real key for me, because I've had really supportive people
Mhm.
who have helped me along the way, and I'm very grateful for that.
Thank you, Marlene. Can we now switch to your involvement with the IAFL? And how did you first become involved with the IAFL? How long ago was that, and what did you do? How did you first become involved?
Well, Cheryl Hepfer, the mother of IFL pretty much in the United States, recruited me, and said that I should join. And that was in 1998. So that was 25 years ago. And I am so thrilled that I did, because this organization is my heart. I love the IFL. I love talking about networking. When you have networking internationally all over the world, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. And so I was able to create great relationships with people, again, all over the world, including you, Suzanne, in England, and then working on various committees and structures, and executive committee, was able to be president of the IFL in 2021, for which I'm very proud. It was a difficult time, but I do love the IFL. I love the continuing legal education. I love the resources that it brings. I
Mm.
love the friendships. I love the opportunities. I love the travel that we can share and get the best of what there is in all the locations, including going to Supreme Courts and hearing from Supreme Court justices and embassies, and opportunities that only your colleagues across the world could bring to you. So I'm very appreciative of those.
Yeah, and were your meetings, Marlene, when you were president?
Yes. Well, all of my meetings were called off. So I call my presidency the reign of terror, because I spent the almost 2 years calling off meetings, because we were in the height of the pandemic, and
Hmm.
we had to cancel all of the contracts that we had, or bump them into future years, and try not to lose a lot of money as an organization, because we had planned, as we do, 4 years out. And of
Mm.
course, with the pandemic, the countries around the world shut down with various requirements and various different timings. And so it ended up that we had to cancel all of the meetings during my term, every single one of them. And not only that, we had to move our administrative staff out of London and into somewhere else because we couldn't stay in London because of London's new revised tax structure.
Oh gosh, so there was a lot going on, but sad that during that time you weren't able to meet face to face with people. Um,
No.
so what would you say the particular highlights of your presidency were against that backdrop?
Well, and there were. So as a result, we became proficient in Zooms and we had contacts with everybody more than we had ever had ever because we had the United States chapter having Zooms monthly. We had the Asia Pacific chapter having Zooms. We also had Zooms for continuing legal education put on by the global organization. So we had lots of contact with each other, not in person, but by Zooms. We had meetings by Zooms. We had newsletters. We had a lot of activity, and we had a lot of time to participate in those activities because there was not a lot going on in terms of people leaving their houses. So it was a great way to stay in contact. You would have thought we would have lost members, lost money, all of those things. We did not. I mean, the organization really blossomed in spite of all of it, and it was new opportunities that we wouldn't have had otherwise.
And
So I'm very
I love the way
pleased.
it pivoted so quickly. I mean, I was involved in the education program, and I remember them saying, "Do you mind if we now do it on Zoom?" And it was just something so entirely different, but we were able to do it very quickly, which was fantastic.
And it worked great. And people were so happy to have those contacts. It
Yeah.
just, you know, when you're alone in your home trying to hold it together, you know, or with your family, to be able to keep the contacts internationally and your friends and check in and find out whether their courts were open or how they're doing and feeling and how things are working. It was most supportive and a unique time, but an important time and a real growth opportunity in a different direction for our organization.
Yeah. Thank you for putting that positive spin on something that was actually really difficult. So thank you, Marlene. Typical you. Fantastic. And having been involved with the organisation for a long time, can you provide three reasons for joining?
Well, the networking, which ties into my saying that it's important to have good relationships. And then the fact of the ability to have relationships across the world when our world is so global now and people are so ambulatory, and you need to know what's going on in various jurisdictions and make decisions with various jurisdictions. And you can do that with our IAFL members. Another reason is because of the educational opportunities and learning from people across the world how they do the same thing that we do in our jurisdictions, but differently, and maybe new and improved versions. And so it's a learning opportunity to understand how other law offices and or countries
Mhm.
handle the same problems that we all universally have. So those are reasons too. And then it's generational because I have these relationships. My daughter is an IFL member. She has her own relationships, and we take care of our colleagues, so our friends' children, our friends' grandchildren, and it's just how we operate because we are really the IFL is an extended family internationally, and I love all of those reasons.
And I think we particularly feel that when we visit people around the world, and everyone's very welcoming and supportive and kind. And you've got that ability to go and visit so many different people in different jurisdictions, which is just amazing as an organization. I think it's really nurtured that.
Well, as I did this summer with you in London, and you took me to Greenwich. I
Yeah.
mean, it was wonderful. And that's one small example of
Mhm.
just this past summer, Suzanne.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. We've all experienced it
Yeah.
numerous times.
It's fantastic. So do you have a vision for the future in terms of the IFL? I mean, what should the IFL do? What should it concentrate on?
The IFL is really moving in a wonderful direction. We have over 1,000 members now. We are developing more chapters in South America now, and hopefully in Africa. And we want to expand our reach and try to have family law attorneys really all over, so that we have the opportunity to refer and to influence and to work together. So more expansion, and to help improve the practice by sharing what jurisdictions, to see if there are ways that we can learn how to make things better for families in transition. So we are on the right path. We have great leaders that are lined up for the future, great locations to visit and to experience. And I am just thrilled to be a part of all of it.
Well, it's great that you are a part of all of it. I know that we love that. And in terms of spending your time, I know that you're still working, but what do you love doing, Marlene? Work and non-work. So a bit, paint a picture of Marlene.
I do love my work, and I love that I am now in a 38-person law firm. I merged my family law boutique firm a year and a half ago with a firm, Gullett, Sanford, Robinson, and Martin, which handles multiple areas of the law. And they've taken over the administration for me. So the administration of the practice is not solely on me any longer. And I love that, and I can continue to practice with my daughter. And I love my clients, and I love the practice. And I don't have a plan to retire, not because I couldn't, but because I don't want to. But by the same token, I love to travel. I do it. I do not miss an IAFL meeting unless I have COVID or I'm sick or there's something going on in my family. But other than that, I'm there. I also like to do yoga. I'm active. I like to walk and visit with friends while I'm walking. I love to be with my family. I have 6 grandchildren. I love being with them. I attend all the sporting events and dances that I can in which they're performing. So I do have a full life in Nashville, Tennessee, which I greatly enjoy, and I hope that I can continue to do what I'm doing, which is all of those things. So that's my plan, just to keep on keeping on, hopefully with good health, physically and mentally. That's the goal.
Well, that's the perfect goal, and what a brilliant way to end our conversation. It's been so interesting talking to you, hearing from you about your views, the IFL, your presidency, and everything. So thank you for taking the time, Marlene. Really interesting.
Thank you so much.